This is the recipe for how we display God's heart through the gift of community. And so what does it look like when we display God's heart? 3 things today that I have for you to write down. Here's the first way, according to the text, that we display God's heart in Christian community. It is this: we display genuine love. We display genuine love. Again, verse 9 says, let love be without hypocrisy. Let that sink in for a moment. Let love be without hypocrisy. Think for a second, how rare is that in our society? Really, how rare is a love that isn't hypocritical? What do I mean by that? How rare is a love that says, I'm for you no matter if you're for me or not? I'm for you even when you're not for me. I'm for you when you let me down. I will come and serve you when you won't serve me. Love is practiced in our society. I will love you as long as you love me. You stop loving me, then I'm out. You wrong me, I wrong you. Or at least I wait until you make it right, but I don't expect me to come along, fool me once, what? Shame on who? You, fool me twice, shame on me. Nobody got that one. Okay, anyways, we're going to keep going. Come on now, help me out. But Paul writes, he says, listen, community, the gift of the church, Christian brothers and sisters, we are to love without hypocrisy. This is a deep, abiding, genuine love. And the Bible is filled with verses that tell us of this importance. This is my commandment, that you love one another. And then joy is complete. Love as I have loved. That's a daunting task. Jesus says, love as I have loved you. The world will be known by what? Love. Let's try it again. The world will be known by what? Your love. John 13, 34 and 35, John 15, 12, John 15, 17. We go on and on and on. We have been called to be a people of genuine love. What does that look like? Let me walk through the text real quick. What does it look like in Christian community to be a people of genuine love? Here's the first word I want you to write down under this first point is initiative. It looks like people taking the initiative. Verse 10 again says, love one another deeply as brothers and sisters. Take the lead in honoring one another. This is where we get a chance to be different. Not when I say, well, okay, let me see what's in it for me. Let me see how well you're going to love me. Let me make sure that we are equal, like we bring the same amount of energy to the relationship. No, I'm going to take the lead. Well, what happens whenever somebody hurts your feelings? I'm going to take the lead. What happens when you disagree? I'm going to take the lead. What happens when you've been wronged? I'm going to take the lead. Do you realize how different this is from society? And many times, one of the reasons why the church loses the power of its witness is we just do community like the world does. You got church splits and breakups, and everybody knows about angry church people. There's like an actual social media thing, the church curmudgeon. I mean, everyone knows how angry church people can be. But we get to instead take the initiative to outdo, some versions say, one another in honor. Initiative. Second, priority. Priority. For the genuine love to work, there must be a right priority. Verse 11 says, do not lack diligence and zeal, be fervent in the spirit, and serve the Lord. For me to love you without hypocrisy, I have first and foremost have to love Jesus. My vertical love for Jesus has to spill into my horizontal love for my Christian brothers and sisters. It doesn't work any other way. Because without Jesus' love pouring over me and me pouring myself out for him, I'm going to put stipulations on how I'm going to love you. It cannot be without hypocrisy if I'm not seeking him first. And so we must have the right priority. Third word, faithfulness. Faithfulness, verse 12, rejoice in hope, be patient in affliction, be persistent in prayer. Rejoice in hope, be patient in affliction, be persistent in prayer. It means that our community is going to be faithful. We're going to celebrate good. Listen, I talked about being an optimist earlier. This is the church celebrating the church, though. We rejoice in hope. We know how it ends. We lock arms and we bear each other's burdens. We are patient in affliction, genuine love. Listen, as Paul is writing this letter to the church at Rome, and he's speaking about Christian conduct here in this part of the letter, let this sink in. He says, be patient in affliction. So when bad days come your way, when trouble comes your way, understand that's reality. But in context of what he's saying, I think it's safe to say also part of the patience he's speaking of is when the affliction I receive is from you. That when you hurt me or wrong me or let me down, even if it's just my perception, I got to be patient. Genuine love is faithful. I'm going to persist in prayer. And then the last word here in the first point is unity. Verse 13. Share with the saints in their needs and pursue hospitality. Share with the saints their needs and pursue hospitality. My prayer is that everywhere God allows BT Church to exist is that we'd be known as a church of unity. Acts chapter 2, there's a well-known passage that talks about how the saints had all things together. That first church they had, they brought their resources together so that no one had need. Now, let me kind of switch a little bit to Bible teacher instead of preacher for a moment. I believe the book of Acts, the history of the first church, is largely a descriptive book. It describes what happened. I don't think everything in the book of Acts is prescriptive, meaning that's how it has to happen. If that was the case, then we would be meeting in a home right now, right? And so in the description of this first church, bringing their stuff together so that no one had need, I think that's something the church actually should still try to practice. That's why we do benevolence as a church. We help people in need, and we put a priority for people inside the church. You may think, well, you should prioritize people outside the church, and you can reach more people. We believe we'll reach more people when the people inside the church don't have needs, and people outside the church notice it. Part of genuine love is unity. It's you over me. Listen, I'm not going to get into political agendas here. I don't think this platform is the place for that, and I'm definitely not qualified to speak into many of those subjects. One subject of political nature that is often discussed and debated is the role of government assistance. Should people receive it? How much should they receive? When should they receive it? For how long they receive it? Listen, I'm not qualified to speak to all of those answers, and I don't have time, and that's not the purpose today. But sometimes there can be a thought that, hey, the system gets abused, and I'm sure it does. But let me say this: if you think to yourself, man, we got to shut off government assistance, this shouldn't be a reality. Part of the reason why there's so much government assistance is because somewhere along the way the church stopped doing its job. Listen, hey, you want to get rid of government assistance? Let's do it. I'm all for it. Let's be the church then. Let's be the church. When people outside of these walls, they may not agree with us, they may not get us, but like, man, I know this guy at work, and I swear he's not, he has bad days, but he never has a need. I know he got, a demotion, he got laid off. I know his family's going through medical crisis, but it seems like his needs are always met. The only thing I can figure out that's different about him and me is he goes to church. Let me check it out. We do this type of community together. We let our love be genuine.